How close were we?
You don't want to know.
Sir, permission to leave the station.
For what purpose, Bob?
To give the Klingons back their bomb.
Granted.
What is going on, everyone? Captain Spicy Pants here. We are officially at the end of week 6 for our Zero to Endgame series, tracking the progress of our Romulan character, Bob. If we check the internal clock, Bob has a total playtime of exactly 2 days and 18 hours. And honestly, for less than 70 hours of total gameplay, what he's pulled off on a completely pure, fresh, free-to-play account is incredibly impressive. But as we close the gaps on the endgame journey, we hit the exact crossroad every single free-to-play player eventually faces. It's the ultimate STO conundrum. Do I support the game by dropping $5 to unlock my energy credit cap, or do I roll up my sleeves, create an army of alts, and grind it out for free? This may be the single biggest conundrum a player faces going the pure free-to-play route. Now, outside of the existential financial crisis, it was a relatively quiet week. Most of our reputations are sitting comfortably at tier 5, minus the 2 that aren't currently being buffed by a Vanguard. So, what did we do? Once again, we spent the week bullying a giant space snowflake for marks in the crystalline event, and we shifted our focus heavily towards building up our finances. If we want to fund the bigger space traits and high-end items Bob needs to actually survive elite content, we need capital, which brings us to the new strategy. In my last video, which by the way is linked in the description below if you missed my 10 essential tips for new players, I mentioned that veterans often use alts. To keep this series completely genuine to a realistic free-to-play experience, we are officially allowing Bob to have friends. But we've got strict stipulations, so this doesn't just turn into a mind-numbing farm simulator, because at the end of the day, this is Bob's journey. Here are the absolute rules for these alts. 1. Every single scrap of dilithium they earn must be funneled directly to Bob. 2. They are strictly forbidden from spending dilithium on anything for themselves. They exist solely to fund Bob. And 3. They can only be created during official recruitment events. Luckily for us, we already have a Gamma recruit ready to put to work. Even better, the Delta recruitment event for PC is right around the corner, so we are going to roll 3 of them. This is going to massively accelerate our economy. Let's break down the cold, hard math of why we need these recruits. To unlock the 2 billion EC cap account-wide without spending real money, we need 500 Zen to buy the unlock from the C-store. At the current exchange cap of 500 dilithium per 1 Zen, we need a grand total of 250,000 refined dilithium. Right now, Bob is sitting on 21,000 dilithium. He's had to use quite a bit. That leaves us needing 229,000 more. If Bob flies completely solo, restricted by the daily 8,000 refinement limit, the math looks like this. 229,000 divided by 8,000 equals roughly 28.5 days. That is nearly a solid month of flawless everyday grinding and refining on a single character just to buy 1 account unlock. However, by pulling in our Gamma recruit and setting up 3 upcoming Delta recruits, we multiply our daily refinement potential by 5. That drops a month-long grind down to less than a week. Granted, we still have to post that dilithium on the exchange and wait out the backlog for the trade to clear, which we know can take a couple of months. But making this decision now is the only way to fund Bob's long-term endgame. Speaking of funding, we dedicated the end of our week to focusing heavily on making energy credits. Like we talked about on stream last week, we weren't just running toward the galaxy, we were actively crafting high-demand training manuals like Torpedo Spread 3 and Narrow Sensor Bands 3 to flip for a major profit, and it worked beautifully. Right until we hit a massive brick wall, that 15 million energy credit cap for free accounts. You truly have to love it. Of all the things Cryptic is deeply concerned about keeping on their watch list, somehow an ancient, severely outdated 15 million EC limit on free-to-play players isn't one of them. In today's economy, 15 million EC buys you a nice pair of boots and maybe a battery. But we found the workaround. We had to dump that initial 15 million directly into the account bank to clear up space, and because the grind doesn't stop, Bob is already up an additional 8 million EC on top of that. The Dilithium-to-Zen master plan is now officially in motion. The cash cow is flowing, and Bob is getting ready for the big leagues. If you want to catch this grind happen live and talk about builds in real time, don't forget that we go live every Monday and Tuesday night right here on YouTube and over on Twitch. You can catch us tracking Bob's progress from 8 p.m. to midnight Eastern. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and be sure to follow Bob's journey all the way to the top. And until next time, I'm Captain Spicy Pants, and I'll see you on the frontier.